Shut up and sit down.
Hey everybody, it's the Takeover Tuesday podcast. I'm David Allen, and we're here with another episode. Today we have a former longshoreman turned copywriter, Raymond Duke. Ray, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great.
Awesome. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
So let's start from, the past perhaps, and sort of how you got into this mess of marketing and copywriting, this sort of weird thing that we belong to. Give us the backstory, the superhero origin story, if you will.
Okay. It's weird because every time I think about this, it comes off like a little bit different. It's kind of like if you ever taken those tests, like the Myers-Briggs, and then every time you take it, I don't know about you, but for me, it comes off a little bit different. So this is good. I'm sorry about that little ping right there, but it's good to kind of reflect on it. So, yeah, I was a longshoreman for several years. Prior to that, I probably worked about 20 different jobs. I worked I delivered pizza. I worked at a machine shop. I worked at a nursery, with plants and stuff. I worked at an art glass studio. So I had all these different jobs because really I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life. I was just kind of just getting by. And the thing about that is I was happy. As long as I was making money and I had a home and I had food, that's all that I needed. And if I had time to myself to write and read and enjoy my hobbies, then I was happy. But it reached a point where I was like, okay, like I can't just keep on living like this. I got to do something a little bit more. As you get older, you have, you
start taking responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. You can't just kind of get by.
Damn it.
It took me a while, and like I said, I was happy. But it reached a point where I was, as I was working as a longshoreman, I was taking part-time classes at a community college, and I was doing that throughout my 20s, but I wasn't really focused on a major yet because I wasn't sure. So I was kind of like testing the water. So I'm a big believer in testing things out and trying it out. And it's kind of like I do that right now with writing copy, but it's just like testing things out. So it was like, do I want to be an architect? Which I thought was awesome. I'd like to like draw buildings, but I just like the math. There's a lot of math in architecture where you're like measuring stuff and all these codes and rules. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. So bounced around. I'll fast forward a little bit. I eventually reached a point where I got a degree in interpersonal and organizational communication, which is basically how we interact, how relationships work, how people get involved with each other, networking and persuasion and whatnot. And when I was in college, I had no idea what copywriting was. So I graduated and, I was like, what do I do now? I still had no clue. So I was working as a longshoreman, but what I was doing on the side when I was working as a longshoreman and going to college was I was blogging. Because when you're in college, you have to do a lot of academic kind of writing where you're just writing these boring long papers that, you're saying one thing, but you're saying it like in 20 pages. You could just you can sum it up in a paragraph, but you have to extend it out. But so that was very boring and drawn out. So as a relief, I would blog and I would just tell stories. I would talk about my day or just kind of I don't know, just talk, and just kind of was like a way to vent. And what happened was eventually people started to find my blog and they liked my stories. I wrote a story once about going to the dentist and it got like 150,000 page views, and I wrote it in 20 minutes. So that was pretty wild because I was working at that time. I was working as a recruiter at an agency, and the agency hired people who were fluent in Japanese, and I didn't speak Japanese. But anyways, that was my job, and so I go to work and I check my my stats at noon, my lunch break. I'm like, I wonder how my blog post did, and it had like 15,000 views. And then after a couple of days, Lifehacker wanted to post on their site, and they did, and then it got like 120,000 more. So total, it got like 150,000 in about a week. So, about a week's time. So So like as a result of blogging, people contacted me like, "Hey, I want you to write on my site. I want you to write some stuff." I'm like, "Sure." I was like surprised that you can actually get paid to write because I had no idea at this time. Still, I had no idea what copywriting was, and a lot of people I meet don't. If
Still
you're not in
don't.
marketing, like, what is copywriting? So yeah. So my first project was $50, and I was stoked. I spent like 3 to 4 days on this one article because I'm like, this is amazing. I was so excited. And after about a week, the excitement wore off, and I'm like, okay, I worked for 3 to 4 days, and I got paid $50. That's not a good return on my time. So, um, but I
Welcome to
liked it.
writing.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was writing, and I loved it. So I'm like, okay, so what can I do to get paid more money? And that's when I Googled, how to get paid money as a writer, how to, make more money as a writer. And that's when I found out what copywriting was. And once I realized, okay, it's about people, it's about persuasion, it's about learning new things, it's about writing. I was like, this is it. This is it. It's like everything I've been doing up until now leads here. And since I made that discovery, I haven't turned back. And this is all I want to do now is write copy. It's what I love. It's my favorite. Yeah. It's been about so I was doing like part time at first. When you first start out, you're not going to get those big clients. So I was doing a part time for I don't know about a year or so, and then I transitioned to working with the agency for about another year. So I was working part time for about a year, another year with the company, and freelancing for about going on my second year now. So not too long, about 3 to 4 years total, off and on, but full time in 2 years ish. Haven't really kept track. I just kind of just do it. Things happen. So
Absolutely.
life's
No,
good.
that's great. That's great. Yeah, I was reading your blog, and then any other people listening to this eventually will. I highly suggest you go over to Ray's blog and read it because you are a great writer.
Thank
Aside
you.
from the copywriting aspect, you put up some great blog posts that are fun to read, and
Yeah. That's it.
I
Yeah, okay.
yeah
Yeah.
I really like the one about because I didn't know anything. I've heard the term longshoreman many
Mm,
times, but I did not really. I mean, you delve into it on your site. I didn't really know all the ins and outs, and
mhm.
and definitely didn't know anything about the system, that
Yeah.
casual workers
It's
and
a
stuff.
very
Yeah,
Yeah, see, the problem with that, with the system, it's a good paying job. You get paid
yeah,
anywhere 25 to 50 an hour, right?
right.
Which sounds like, oh, okay, if I wanted to get a job, that's a good pay. You can make a good living and, and pay your bills with that amount of money. But the thing is, like, it's so random. You don't know when you're going to work. 'Cause when you start off, you're something called a casual, and a casual is like a temp. So I could work one day a week, I can work one day a month, I can work 4 days a week. It was just based on the amount of extra work there was that the regular workers weren't taking. So I mean, after several years of that job, what I learned is like I don't want to be in a position where I'm limited by the amount of time I put in. I want to, make more money based on how well of a job I do and how much skill I have and how much I could help out whatever it is that's taking place. On the docks, it was like the way to make more money was to work more and put in more hours. That was how you got a raise. And like I didn't like that. And the thing I love about copywriting is like, you're based on the performance of your copy. That's how if you have an equity deal or percentage based, or if you want to get better clients, you got to have those results, or you got to, kind of know what you're doing and have, experience. So it's very experience based. If you're hiring a copywriter and you're paying them by the hour, then, that's not,
Yeah,
I don't think that's the best way. It might be a best way to kind of train somebody, but you reach a point where you're like, okay, it's all about the partnerships that you create and the deals that you set up, and I like that because it scales. You can set up a good deal and you keep working with that same client, and the both of you make more money. So it's a win-win. So that's what I like compared to being a longshoreman. But it was a good job. I don't regret doing it, and the people there are very down to earth and humble and amazing, and I made a lot of great friends. So
yeah. It sounded like it sounded like you enjoyed it. You just didn't, like you said, you wanted to get into something that was you didn't have a ceiling on, and you didn't
hmm
want to, your hours. You weren't trading hours for dollars, basically.
yeah, yeah.
Now, when you first started, because we have a lot of sort of newbie copywriters that listen to it, and people who are just fresh to starting businesses or in sort of the throes of that first stage of their early business. how did you go about getting clients and stuff when you first started? Like you said, did some writing. People approached you to do some like article writing and stuff. How did you
Hmm.
transition that into finding, the better
Hmm.
copywriting clients?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. It just kind of just happened. I
Right.
can, stop here and think for a second, but I started off with writing articles. I think I used those sites for a little while, like Upwork and stuff like that. I think back then it was had a different name. I forgot the
Right.
name.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
I set up at those sites, and I got a few clients, but just kind of wasn't happy with the setup that they had there. Because then it was like the way that those types of sites are set up, you're still trading time for money because you usually get paid by the hour, the project, and whatnot. And then you got to build up a bunch of like experience on those sites. So I did a few projects there, but I didn't really stick around. Um, what I would recommend if you're new and you're starting off, there's a few things I say that you should do, and it doesn't come down to like reading one book or taking one course. I think those all are things that you should do while you're actually doing the work and getting experience, which is so easy to do today to write copy and pay a few bucks and get some traffic and do some testing. But what I would recommend you do to get better is one, make sure you write daily. It doesn't have to be a full sales page or anything like that. It just could be a blog post, it could be a social media post, it could just be a journal that you keep to yourself, but make writing daily a habit. That's what I would do. And that's what I still do if you're new and you're wondering like how can I get better? And the second thing is to meet as many people as possible, but not with the intent like, okay, I'm trying to close this person as a client. Just go out and meet people, make friends. And that's really what catapulted me from making a few bucks or whatever per project to making a lot more. Some of the clients I have right now I have best-selling authors, I have millionaires, I have a lot of people that make a lot of money that are very well known, and that's all because I just kind of like made friends and I just was cool with people and became known as someone who writes copy.
Right.
And then now it's like, oh well, we need a copywriter. Let's talk to Raymond.
Right.
My name comes up because I just kind of made friends, and I didn't like do all this crazy thing where like, oh, I had a strategy and I have to make cards
Right.
and that follow up on my calendar and not like that. I just kind of like just was a cool person.
Hmm.
That's what I think that you should do. Be yourself. Master that one skill, and if you're listening to this, it's probably that one skill is being a copywriter, and make friends and meet people, and just kind of and things will happen. I've gotten follow-ups from people who I met several months ago, and those turned out to be some very big projects from people I've just met in person at some event or something like that.
Right.
They're like, hey, we have this huge project. We think that you would be a good fit. We've been following you since we first met. And I'm like, really? Wow, so then that ended up being a big project. So it's, yeah, things just kind of practice daily and meet people, make friends, and just be a cool person.
Right. Now, did you make it you said you didn't really strategize too much of it, but
Yeah.
did attending different sort of live events and meetups, did you think that was like something you were like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to meet more people.
It was a combination. It was more, it was a way to meet people, sure. And then it was also a way just to kind of get away from the screen and realize there's other people out there that are in similar fields and markets than me that are, that are not just on Facebook. These people,
Right.
these are real walking, talking people who I can go meet and talk to, and kind of build a relationship that's a little bit better than just a personal message or something like that on a
Yeah.
online network, something like that. So it was a combination of stuff. It was a way to get out the house. It was a way to meet people. It was a way to maybe close deals, but that wasn't like my main
Right.
intent.
Right.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go here and talk to 20 people and have a percentage rate of closing. Like
Right.
it's like, I don't know, that's not kind of how I do things. And I don't think that's bad. There's some people who do that, make a living off that, but
Sure.
I don't, that's your thing. Cool. But like, that wasn't the way I do it. So the way I think about it with copywriting, it takes a lot out of you to do a lot of thinking, a lot of research, a lot of writing. So I try to keep my life as simple as possible because my energy goes to writing copy. So like stuff like doing these crazy strategies to meet clients and whatnot, like that takes a lot of work and energy. And I'd rather just focus my energy on writing copy and do great work for the clients I have, and that leads to more work because that's the best way, I think. You have a good client, you make that client happy and you make them money, they're gonna say good things about you. So
Yeah, that's right.
that that'll help you get more jobs, or that'll help you get more work with that same client. I'm a believer in sticking with, personally, I like having a limited number of clients. I have like maybe like three, or I have like three big ones right now and a few smaller ones, and I have some personal projects, but I could scale more, but it's like that's just more time, and
Right.
that's just you can't focus on that many things at once, or I can't. So
Yeah.
if you can, great, but I personally I can't. So I learned to keep things simple.
Yeah, it sounds like you're trying to keep your lifestyle in order too. Like you have a certain lifestyle that you enjoy, and you don't want to detract from that as well.
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
Now, if when it comes to one thing, if people are listening to this podcast regularly, and we've had a lot of copywriters on, and a few really big name copywriters on, it seems to be this similar pattern that they go through. Whereas people start off, they do what John Carlton refers to as the shameless whore phase, which is sort of like what you were talking about, the Upwork, Elance, sort of era, which is sort of the modern online version of that, I guess. And then you go into the finding these clients, and then you get better clients. And it seems like all the copywriters, the good ones anyways, go through this last phase where they then realize, I think we had Mitch Miller on the show here a while ago where he really sort of nailed this, because his copy had made like $1 million in 1 month for one of his clients. And he then realized that, well, I got paid, tens of thousands of dollars, but he made $1 million. What am I doing? That should be me. It's kind of this, you realize it all the way along, but then I think people, once it gets to a certain level, perhaps you then act.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you have your own, from reading your blog and from what you just said, it sounds like you have concurrent projects of your own running alongside.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, a few things to say about that. The first is I haven't kept my blog up to date because I've been really busy lately. So I have stuff that I'm working on and doing that I haven't mentioned on the blog yet, but I plan to get back there and do it. But going back to what you said before, I definitely agree that a lot of copywriters realize that, hey, I could be creating my own products, or I could be, doing things to get more of a revenue from what I'm doing, and I agree with that, and I also kind of like don't follow that at the same time. I follow that I understand the thought process; it makes sense, but the way I go about it is kind of do my own thing. And lately, what I've been doing with the clients I have, I get paid a percentage, and I get paid a base, and that's great. Now, but what I've been doing, and I don't think anybody else is doing this, or if they are, no one's talking about it. It's not really like super ninja or anything like that. But what I would do, and that's like the first time I've used that word in a year, ninja.
That's so
what I've been doing, I'm helping these people make money, and what I've been doing is setting up affiliate deals where I get the best payouts possible out of every other affiliate. So if they're paying 70% whatever to their affiliates, I'm getting 90%. If they're getting paid, the upsells are 50%, I'm like at 75 to 90%. So I'm getting the payouts that are like top tier, because not only am I writing the copy, I'm writing their emails, their landing pages, their sales pages, I'm writing their copy, so I understand that market. I know what converts, and I'm behind the scenes too, because I had like the director of marketing is just a text away. I could say, hey, what's converting right now for that market, or how's that split test doing? So I have behind the scenes access to the stats, high payouts. Then what I do is I go out and create my own funnels. And I could do traffic myself, but I know people that specialize in traffic, because again, that's like more work for me to, set up these traffic and do stats like that. So I partner with dudes mostly. I was gonna say guys and girls, but it's all guys. It's not a lot of women in the space, but I find dudes, I find partners. Like, hey, I have this payout on this deal. Either this deal is either hard to get or no one has it for this product, because it's like it's a special training for an author of a book or something like that, and they just launched or something like that. So I have first access, or I have stats, I have high payouts, and the people I partner with can drive hundreds of thousands of $1 million of traffic. So we have the high payouts, the guys who specialize in traffic, and I form a deal with those people. So that's what I've been doing lately. Within the past like several weeks, I've been thinking about it, but things have been taking action the past 2 weeks. So that's like the latest of the latest right there. And I think that's a good way to scale because you're helping the client make money because you're helping them get sales. You're making money because you have a good payout on the affiliate. You're getting a better understanding of the market as you're writing the copy and you're seeing the traffic come in and you see the stats. So if they have another product or something to launch, or if they're doing something else, they come to you because you understand the market. You not only just worked on a project, you're there kind of tweaking their funnel and making sure things are converting, and you're putting your own money on the line too in some cases, which makes you more accountable for the work that you do. So it's win-win. I've been trying to set up more of those deals, and I got some more set up. And eventually, what I would like to do, what the plan is to launch my own CPA network, where people would apply and get access to these high payout special deals I have with the clients I have. So that way I can manage them and have other affiliates or copywriters write copy. I think that would be a good way to kind of learn to write copy, and versus taking so and so's course or reading books. Like I said, that's stuff that you should do on the side. But you should also be actually doing it. That's the best way to learn. So yeah, affiliate marketing is a great way to get experience, make money, because you're getting live feedback from the market. When you drive traffic and you put some money on the line, you can see what converts. So it's kind of just a wrap up of some of the stuff I'm working on. And then, I would like to eventually do like a product or a book or something like that, but that's on the back burner. Making my clients make sure that they make money and I make money, that comes first. So that's what I'm working on.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was gonna say, so these high payout affiliate offers are basically because you're involved intimately
Yeah.
with clients.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It works out very well. And
Yeah, it's a great idea.
yeah.
That's cool. And then you're getting good referrals too because you're so tied into it. And like you say, having skin in the game is a great way to
Yeah.
learn.
See, at that point, it's more of like a partnership versus a lot of people, a lot of copywriters especially, are anti-client. Like, oh fuck, effing clients. I don't know if I can cuss here, but like they
Go
get
for it.
pissed off at clients. Like fucking clients. Like oh. And everyone complains. I'm like, stop fucking complaining and do something about it. If you don't like the clients you work with, then don't work with them. Like come on. A lot of babies out there, but find a client that you get along with. Because I've had some shitty ones. I'm not gonna say things have been all gravy. I've had some shitty clients, but I stopped working with them. I say, it's not working out, and do whatever it takes to end things on a good note. But I move on. And once you find those good clients, like keep them, right? At that point, a good client, with my finger quotes, becomes a friend and a partner. And, why not have a few buddies out there that they can create content, they do great things, they make videos, whatever, they have training, and you write copy. It's like a win-win. It's like, just two friends making money versus this whole client and professional type of atmosphere. So that's what I'm all about. And that's what I think that is a way to kind of get past that point where like, oh, I got to find another client, or they bounce from client to client. Like, just find a few great clients, make them your friends, and be good partners and do awesome things. I got a client right now, a buddy, who I hooked up with about a month ago, a friend of a friend, and I'm writing some video scripts for some ads, and he's taking me out on his private jet on Thursday. So that's like some of the perks you get when you get these good clients, and you become their go-to copywriter, their go-to person for a marketing and whatnot. So yeah, like, I wouldn't have done that if I was trying to bounce around from client to client. You find those good ones and you stick with them. So yeah.
No, well, I mean, I think we connected in the Call to Copy or one of these online forums, and then we booked this show months in advance of our.
Yeah, well, yeah,
it's
all good.
weird because I book these things now months in advance because we have people. I've contacted a lot of people, and sort of people have all decided, yeah, we would come on, and then you're like, okay, well, I don't spend all day every day recording podcasts, but so you sort of spread them out where I've done it is spread it out over the months. But now we're talking, we haven't contacted each other for months, and then you're like, is this thing still on, and so forth. Yeah, because and it's worrying for me too because I know how I am too. So, but it's interesting. Like when first asked you on, you had this excellent blog, like I said earlier, and you're just a good writer. Your blog posts, aside from your copy, your blog posts are just very engaging.
Thank you.
And then, and we belong to the same groups and so forth as copywriters. But also, then the next thing I sort of, when I already had you booked on the show, is that I saw you on this video cast, this entrepreneur, Tai Lopez, who's now quite famous.
Yeah, my garage, yeah. I guess.
Yeah, exactly, where you did this 21 point thing on the copywriting for them. That's sort of
oh yeah, man, that was awesome.
Yeah, maybe talk a bit more about that, because everyone's whatever they think about Tai. I mean, I don't have any negative things to say about it. I don't know him personally, but he has definitely created a polarizing fervor, if you will, which I'm sure he's taken straight to the bank. But talk about how this also unfolded, because this is part and parcel of your sort of like becoming friends with people and making these connections.
It is, yeah, and that's exactly how it all came together. I had met a buddy, I think through Facebook last year, and he does a lot of their affiliate marketing, and we just been buddies. And he knew that they were looking for a copywriter, or he heard from someone that, hey, we should get a copywriter here. So he reached out to me, and that's what I was saying before, like, make friends and just make sure people know what you do, and it comes back to you. Because when that name came up, like, hey, let's get a copywriter to get some help on this project, my name came up, and I worked on a few projects, and then I'm still working with Tai, and it's just getting better and better. And that's another one of the perks, where you get those clients that, you help them out, and it's ongoing work, and you get these perks, you get these benefits. I've been to two of their conferences. I think I was at his house again this week. I think last week. I don't know. But yeah, like it's just awesome, you meet a lot of friends, and yeah, so like that's what it came down to, just being friends and making friends, making connections. And I did a private one for the mastermind, and I did a live one, like a public one, which was awesome. And I think I'm gonna do another one soon. Yeah. So it was,
I couldn't stay for the whole thing.
People loved it. Yeah. Yeah.
But I saw the first part of it. It was good.
Cool. I'm glad you liked it.
Now, the one you gave for the mastermind, the first thing that jumps in my mind when when these things, when I hear people talk about these things, is that, so you're talking to other people who are other business owners within his mastermind group,
right?
Delivering copy ideas and processes and stuff of how you go about it and how they should go about it. I think that's probably a very good referral system, considering I know people don't like to do stuff themselves a lot of times, especially something as sort of nebulous as copywriting. So I imagine that's been good for you that way too.
Yeah. I mean, the opportunities, once they get going, it's like a snowball, and they're out there. So if you're out there and you're struggling, you're like, what do I do? Just like keep at it and figure something out. Like keep at it, don't give up, because the opportunities are out there, and before you know it, like there's more than you can handle, and that's when you reach a point when you get to pick and choose. So yeah.
And for you, like you said, it's been pretty new. I mean, within a couple of years.
You know what? Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be like part of like a mastermind of someone like Tai or someone else. Like you can literally go to meetup.com, create an account for 6 months or something for $36, and start doing them in your local city or whatever. And even if like 5 people show up, you can just record it.
Right.
And then boom, you have a video. You can put that on your site, just do like an hour talk about writing copy or whatever it is that you specialize in. And that's authority right there. Like that's really what it comes down to, just getting something out there. And that'll kind of get you started and get your name out there. That's what you're struggling with.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a very good. I've done this most recently. I travel full time.
I love traveling. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm currently in New Orleans, and this will come out months later. But at this current of this recording, last week I was at a meetup for the first time here, because normally when I'm here, I'm doing other things, and I'm here to enjoy the weather and so forth. But I went to one of these meetups for a local business meetup because I just thought, I'm gonna meet some more business people here. You never know what's gonna happen,
right?
And there's a few things that have come from it already. So it's you got to put yourself out there, basically.
Yeah, so true.
Now, when you were first getting the first clients, because this is a question I get now, and I had it kind of really different because my first sort of people were sort of vetted through a mentor, and it was a different sort of process. So I never had to really go through it's just me and the client when I first wrote the first few projects. So for you, how did you go about structuring the arrangement? Like, what was there a test period? Was there like sort of like a little, was it a 3-month sort of trial? Was it you just did one project and then you talked about the next, or like sort of how did you go about attempting to structure those initial deals? Because that seems to be something that's cropping up now more. People asking me these questions more.
Yeah, I definitely a believer in getting paid by the project versus by the hour. It's interesting because a lot of like the numbers that we come up with are just kind of like made up. In a sense, like there's no set rate, right? There's no set rate. Spoiler, breaking
Spoiler
news.
alert. Yeah.
These numbers kind of like we just have a pair of dice and we just roll them on the table and like, yeah, we just add some zeros to whatever comes up.
Right.
But seriously, like there's no like universal set rates. So, and this is where it gets kind of tricky, right? Because you have to think there's a lot of things to consider. You have to look at, the client, what they've paid in the past, what you've earned in the past. Those are not the most important things, but that's something to consider. Another thing is the project itself. Like, how much have they launched products before? Have they sold stuff? What kind of money are they making? What's their budget? So it gets kind of tricky when you have to consider all these things. And that's just why, like, I've been setting up the affiliate type stuff where I will get paid based on the performance. That's kind of a good way to go about it. But it's kind of like a difficult answer to a difficult question. Yeah, like when I first got started, I set up by the project and I just picked a rate that I was comfortable with. And I don't know if that's the best thing because, being comfortable could limit you, but that's what I did. I was getting started. I didn't have a lot of experience, so that's what I did. One example I can give you and give your audience is I found a little niche when I was getting started, and that was writing product descriptions for Amazon. I wrote a sales page. I don't even know if it was a sales page really. It was just kind of something I wrote, Amazon copywriter. And I wrote that years ago. And for some reason, it ranked #1 on Google searches because no one else was doing that. So about once a week, twice a week, I get a request for me to write their copy. And it was $500 for a product description. So when I was getting started, that was pretty cool. It would take me about a day or so, and it was $500 for writing a product description. It wasn't a product description is about 2 pages of copy. You have the title, the bullets, and the product description. So for me, getting started, that was a good little setup, a situation like that. So maybe if you were getting started, that would be something that you can do. Find a good little niche like that, write some copy, put it on a website, and use those words, whatever those words are. I think today would be like Shopify descriptions or social media, or find a little niche like that, price it, package it up, and then as you do that and you start to get clients and you keep track of your results, you can get testimonials and raise your rates accordingly. But maybe start off with a little package deal like that. That way it's easy. I'm all about the convenience. So, if you package something like that, make it easy for a client to say, okay, I'm getting this, this, and this, and it says how much it costs, and it's whatever deal you have, bonus or whatever you want to do. And you're the copywriter. If you're listening to this, you could think of a way to kind of package it up and sell it, but create something like that where the client knows exactly what they're getting, because confusion is not good. You want to make it crystal clear. Okay, I'm getting this. This is what I'm getting for this price, and I'm convinced that this is a good deal. And then that could be a good way to kind of start. I stopped doing that because I got bored of writing them, and so I don't really do them now. But if I wanted to, I can turn that thing back on and make that much money. But it's just not really what I'm into right now, or I have better stuff set up. So But it was a good way to start off. It was good.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
It's a good way to learn too. Yeah. At that point, you're getting paid to learn. If you're in your first year or so, you're not making a ton of money, but you're getting paid to practice. And who knows, you might do something and it's a home run, and then you're like, okay, now I can triple my rates because I made so and so X amount of money. I think one of the win stories I had when I was starting off, I wrote someone's Kickstarter, and he made like 30 to 40,000 in the first week. So when I was getting started, like, I'm like, wow, I just literally made this guy he raised that much money for his Kickstarter project. So, that was just kind of, you get those wins and you just work your way up.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, when you finally started taking, because you said you were charging per project and sort of doing that, when you sort of took that next step, if you will, into the percentage of sales deals and the retainer, retainer deals, did you enter into a trial period with new clients? Like, how did that work?
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, I think it depends on the client. And yes, I did. To answer your question, I did go through a trial where it was project by project to start, because they want to get comfortable with working with you, and that's understandable. For a new client, they want to make sure that you actually, they might get a referral from someone they know and they trust and they like, but until they work with you, they don't really know. So yeah, you might want to start off with the project and then see how that does and then work your way up. But it just depends on the client. So, yeah.
No, that's good, because I get those. Seemingly that's the latest thing, because there's a lot of talk in the sort of copy community about working with clients and, how do we make it a win-win deal for people, because, when they're, like you said earlier in the show here, hiring copywriter is a very sort of weird thing, because even a lot of business owners don't know what the hell that is.
Yeah.
No, they don't realize that there's people out here that do this.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing too. Like, that's a whole different market. If you have a business owner who doesn't know what copywriting is, some people would say just avoid those and don't even try to educate them. And then some would say, just work with direct response businesses, because they know what's going on. You don't have to educate them. So it just depends. You can do either or. You can work with businesses who don't understand really the benefits, and if you think that they have the potential to make a lot of money, they're just not doing something right. Then if you want to go in there and show them and educate them, say, if you were doing this, this, and this, and you would write this ad this way, you would make a lot of money. If that's what you want to do it. But that's just another way to go about it. It's another strategy.
Did you write any copy for offline?
Yeah, definitely. I wrote a lot of copy for offline. Not a lot. I think it's been about 50-50, but I've written copy for offline. It's a little bit different. I've worked with some old school guys. I had a client last year, and he was in the list building business, like in the 80s, and so he had a lot of like connections and associates and stuff like that. It's funny because he invited me to his house. I think he was in Hollywood or something, and it was pretty cool. He kind of showed me all these pictures and books and stuff that he was involved in. So that was cool. I mean, those, and it was like a whole new world. He was talking about stuff about list building, and I'm like, huh? Because like when I grew up, it was online, right?
Yeah.
It was like, sales funnels and landing pages and stuff, and he was talking about, data and all this stuff like that, and so it was a whole new world.
That's cool though. That's cool. It is cool, and that's funny because earlier in the show, that was one of the things that sort of piqued my interest. I'm not sure how old you are exactly, but you're one of the first people that it just sort of dawned on me as you said it. You said, well, I wanted to get paid as a writer, so I Googled it, and then I just became that. And the answer was spit out, and I was like, okay, that's what I do then. And you just, that's so new. I think we take it for granted maybe sometimes, but that is like such a newer. I found my career by Googling, and then I just decided, right? Went in that direction. So that's very interesting too.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
So what's the you're gonna structure more of these affiliate deals and scale these things and move forward. What's sort of in the future for Raymond Duke?
Yeah, man. More of those affiliate deals. I definitely want to do that. And I don't know if you know. I'll just explain what it is. A CPA network. is basically where you fill out an application, you get access to a private dashboard, and then you have to apply to the offers that show up. And then you're given a special link where you can do very sophisticated tracking and see the people who are clicking your links, and you can see the device that they use, the time of the day, the location, all of these details that you can use to help you fine tune your ads and your targeting and your traffic. So I would like to get the clients I have, deals set up with the clients I have, and then get them into a system like that where I can open that up and invite either other copywriters or other affiliates or people who I would trust to get in there and start running traffic and do a rev share. But so that's kind of like personally what I would like to do in the future. That's what I'm thinking about. So I got set up right now. Doing a little test right now with a buddy of mine. He does a lot of mailing, and he's going to send some traffic to a funnel I made. So I'm pretty excited about that. But for client work, I like working with the clients I have. I love working with the clients I have. There's lots of perks, lots of benefits, lots of access to other people and to data, like the market that they market to. I get to write copy and they open things up. I get to look at all the traffic and the conversion rates and the open rates and the sale rates and stuff. So all that stuff is like, it's kind of like candy because I can get in there and like, I wonder how my copy did. I can get in there and kind of check things out. So that's awesome. So keep on working with the clients I have. Work with new ones possibly if everything's set up right. Want to do more traveling. Want to kind of get out more and meet new people. I was telling my friend that even if I was making millions and millions of dollars a month passively, where I didn't have to work, like I didn't have to get off my ass, I just had to sit down, the money was coming in, I would still be writing copy. This is what I would still be doing. Yeah. Because I would just use that money to either network or to travel or to go to more conferences or, live a lifestyle where I can invite more people to my place. I would buy like a big place and host parties and stuff. Like I would use that money. I would invest that money into more situations that will allow me to write copy. So that's what I would like to do. So that's kind of what's in my future, is just reinvesting what I make into a lifestyle that suits me, where I can meet more clients and travel more and, just do what I'm doing, just kind of scale it up.
Oh, that's very good. So if people want to get a hold of you, Ray, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Best way is, I have a website, I have an email list. I haven't mailed it in about a week or two, but I have that. That would be a way to kind of keep in touch. If you like that there's an urgent message that you want to send me, I don't know, maybe, I don't know why or what that is, but I guess I'll put that out there.
What's the website address?
Oh, okay. My website is just my first and last name, which is Raymond Duke, Duke. So that's Raymond Duke, just one word, Raymond Duke. And you can also look up that name on Facebook if you want to send me a message. Just don't send me some spam or anything like that. But, yeah. I don't want to join your networking opportunity or anything like that. Or buy your bracelet.
Yeah.
But it's all good. Yeah, like that would be the best way to get in touch. So yeah, that's kind of what I got going on. And another thing I'm thinking about doing is like a workshop. But this is one of those things that's like on the back burner, where I would like to once a week have like a YouTube channel or like a live stream or webinar or whatever, where I do a workshop, a free training, where for 20 minutes I'll teach you something. For 20 minutes I'll do a review of someone's website or whatever, and then for 20 minutes I'll answer questions. So I want to do that for like once a week, and just use that as a way to build my list, or eventually maybe turn that into a product. But I think that's a cool way to kind of to get your name out there. So if you want to steal that and do that, if I haven't done that by the time you hear this, then go ahead and do it. So.
No, that's good. I was thinking I had something in plans that was not quite like that, but sort of a daily little thing like that as well. Video, because video seems to be
Video is huge, man. Snapchat.
Yeah, exactly. So that's great. It sounds like you got a lot of things upcoming. People have the RaymondDuke.com, I presume, RaymondDuke.com. How people get a hold of you. I really want to thank you for coming on the show, man. That was spectacular. Yeah, it's really good to hear other copywriters' stories and just your general, for people who are not copywriters, just the general how you found your way up the ladder, so to speak. I think that's very informative.
Yeah, I'm still climbing too. So
That's
it's
right.
all good.
That's right. It
Yeah.
never stops.
Nah, it never stops. It's fun. Yeah, thank you.
For everyone else, of course, we like to thank Ben Sound at bensound.com, usually at this part of the show, for giving us the free royalty-free music to use in our intros and outros. And we'll catch everybody next week on the Takeover Tuesday podcast.